delivering 4K is one question, but particularly for sports and other live content, most of the 4K we see now is 1080p that is upscaled. Yeah. So given the costs involved for production and distribution, will we really see any native 4K via streaming? And perish the OTA thought, what about the potential, albeit unlikely, again, due to cost, for OTA delivery of 4K using ATSC 3.0 / next gen TV? That's a big question.
So maybe just to make one comment on terrestrial broadcast, especially in the US. So you probably know that in Europe, DTT in Spain and France is already 2160 HDR. And the reason for that is they have spectrum being allocated by the government. Unfortunately, in the US, you don't have this luxury. You have ATSC 1 simulcast with ATSC 3. And for those reasons, that's why you do not have yet in the US in broadcast 2160. Now, back to the streaming and production cost. When I talk to my friend at Amazon, they tell me for Prime, for them, what is really preventing them to upgrade from 1080p to 2160 is the production cost. Now, I've done a small simulation. If they had to upgrade 1080p to 2160, it will be, assuming not all the people get UHD at home because of bandwidth limitation and because of TV household capabilities, it will probably double their CDN bill. So I don't know what's the bill, but when it's double, it's not good sign. So for those two reasons, I think for large scale events like Amazon Prime or Peacock, NFL, huge audience of 15 million people, I think it's still a pipe dream for the years to come.
Why are we pushing 4K trucks all over the place for broadcast if we're satisfied with the 1080p delivery world?
Yes, so that's a good question. And I think maybe we need to make a difference between a big event like Super Bowl, FIFA World Cup, Olympics, where you have real means versus recurring event, which are like maybe not so much funded. And in that case, you might not get all the nice trucks you dream of, Corey. That's my understanding of the situation today.
I think even some of the pedestrian trucks are still doing 4K these days. I think it's hard to go to any sporting event without seeing, you know, some kind of 4K truck in the lot somewhere. Like I think that it's already being, a lot of content's already being shot and produced in 4K. You know, we just haven't flipped the script from an innovation standpoint because, you know, I think a lot of leadership, you know, at some of these bigger companies, you know, they have to deal with the traditional linear side of the model where a lot of content is coming from 4K and it's being shifted down to 720p. Like there's going to be an inflection point at some point where, you know, we have to rip those band-aids off and deliver in an IP-based world a much higher quality, because that's where TV is shifting towards. And I think 2025 is going to be that year that there's not just the innovation piece of it, but there's the rapid acceleration of experimentation around 4K, and to really get some hard numbers around like who's capable of doing it and who's not. We're not talking about like 4K streaming uncompressed. Everything's going to be kind of, you know, still compressed in an IP streaming world, but at some point the technology is already there, right? There's already broadcasters that are experimenting in this technology today. You know, we just need to get out of the way from, you know, living in this traditional linear model.
But my issue with this whole streaming 4K is you are butting up against ISPs with data caps, right? So if I'm a consumer and I'm paying X amount of dollars, I do not want 25 megabits per second of streaming come into my TV when I'm not probably really going to appreciate the visual acuity of it, because I'm just not. So 1080p HDR, way less data, maybe it's 85 or 90% of a similar visual experience in 4K. I believe I'm going to agree with Corey for the first time in my life. No, I'm just kidding. I'm going to agree with Corey when he says, yes, we should be capturing and producing in 4K. We are. Like, why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you produce the highest quality master you can? Because that's the beauty of adaptive bitrate, right? That's why we want we want a ladder, but we have to have the highs and the lows in the ladder in order to make the ladder really meaningful for all the devices we have. So yes, I believe most people right now are producing in the highest quality they can, right? They're capturing in the highest quality they can. But streaming, like, no. I will continue to pound the pulpit on 2025 is not the year for 4K. 2026 is not. 2027 is probably not. Maybe